who would you say has the biography and the chops to make the case that they're strong on immigration?
So I think what I'll say is the Midwestern governors, Shapiro and Whitmer, and even Brashear down in Kentucky, can point to and talk about in an authentic way why people in their state have so many concerns, what illegal immigration has caused, whether it's on the jobs front or the feeling on crime and safety in neighborhoods front. What you need to speak in a human way about the trade-offs of having an open border. I agree with her that I think Gallego, being from Arizona, can say these are all the ways that it has harmed our state. Yes, we've benefited from some ways, but here are all the problems. But I think that those two governors who have high approval ratings, so Democrats will hear them a little bit more, can probably speak best to it. I think the rest of the candidates are going to struggle quite a bit.
I want to make one more quick point, and there was an article that came out about how Martha's Vineyard is reeling from having their homes raided of domestics and landscapers and so forth, because the entire economy rests on the labor of illegals. First of all, the irony, right? Because when 48 illegal migrants were shipped there by Ron DeSantis a couple of years ago, they had to call in the National Guard, get these people out of here. We cannot possibly feed them. Although it turns out some of them did make a home there as indentured servants. To me, this is another real problem. So the Democrats have a lot of pressure to become smarter on immigration because of the electorate. But on the other side, I guess answering the question I asked Dan earlier, they have the donor class in the form of, Soros and others like him who have effectively endorsed an open borders policy. They have the activist class. They have the elites, the intellectual and cultural elites who are all for open borders. And then they have the 65% of Americans who make over $500,000 a year now, who are effectively the Democrats' new base. And those people have a very real economic interest in having this open border because it supplies them with cheap labor. They don't have to pay an American wages to do their landscaping or watch their children or clean their homes. They can pay an illegal much less and don't have to give them the same protections. And so that is a lot of pressure for them to find their way back to where the average American is at.
Dan, one of my three favorite things about Batya is she asks the right questions, and then if you don't answer them, she does. Thank you for that. All right, here's my next question. It goes back to the question of 2028 and immigration. We talk all the time about how the base of the party is so powerful now and everybody's afraid of crossing the base. And when people like Barack Obama or Gavin Newsom take tentative steps, say the tiniest little thing, the base goes crazy and they back off. What if someone who wanted to run for president in 2028 tweeted this? Thank you, President Trump, for sending the National Guard into Southern California to restore order and protect our brave ICE officials carrying out the law. Governor Newsom, you should thank the president too. What if someone like Amy Klobuchar tweeted that? Would it end her chances of being the nominee, Dan?
No, it wouldn't. I mean, the irony is that in our party, the base is not as powerful as it is in the Republican Party, which is to say the people who have crossed the base in Senate and gubernatorial primaries and other things have won often, right? The most extreme elements in our base have not produced winning candidates in a lot of statewide and certainly not in national races. I think the way most 2028ers would look at it is, why do I need to stick my head up and take that risk and have a headache? I agree with you, Mark. I think this is an opportunity for somebody to stand up and use common sense and say exactly what you did. Be on the side of law and order and find a way to kind of show that you're empathetic to immigrants in another way. But to me, that would be the smart move. If I were an Amy Klobuchar, or even, if I were someone like Cory Booker, no one doubts you're progressive. Go show that you're not just a one-way street here on stuff.
Yeah, maybe you could add to the tweet, I feel compassion for those families who are feeling, whatever. Batya, is that tweet a suicide mission or a brilliant tactical maneuver?
I think it's brilliant. I totally agree with both of you. I think that what Gavin Newsom did was the exact opposite. he acted like he was standing up to power and to the bad guys, right? When actually what he was doing was basically on his knees in front of the activists and the far left of his party, being completely subservient to those pressures, which are the exact wrong ones to be listening to. The real power move, the real courageous move would be to say, our police need this support. As Mark, you pointed out in the morning meeting this week, there is a moral imperative to support and protect the lives of people who are in law enforcement. They have families too. Like, hello, it's so obvious. So I think thank you, President Trump. We don't agree on everything, but we needed to do this. We have to do this. We have to moderate as a party. I think is a brilliant idea.